your hammer, and then Io has to physically place himself on the creep wave in order to clear it. And just against the kill threat that Liquid has, that's going to naturally make his wave clear less impactful. So if they can get that fight, I like their odds, but that was kind of my concern going into the draft. And so far, you can see with the pace of the game that they're just getting out efficiency when fights are not going on.
So if we had something, say we place this Undying with a wave clearing 5 position, Hero, Winter Wyvern, like something like that, do you think you would be more agreeable to this combo? It just leaves a big opening in the draft you kind of have to cover.
Yeah, it's not just the Undying, right? It's also the Nyx. Like, the combined duo that they have has literally no wave clear. Like, Nyx, yeah, his impale's okay, but compared to a lot of other fours, even ones like Shaker or Spirit, who are also ganking types, very little wave clear on the Nyx. And it's like, you want to be able to jungle on IO most of the time. And so you see him here, he is jungling. And since he's jungling, the waves just aren't going to get pushed. And eventually, over the course of a couple minutes, the waves are all going to be on their side of the map. And even when they get crucial kills like they did on the Beastmaster as well as Revenge, it just results in them defending their lanes rather than actually advancing and taking tower.
Well, looks like Charlie's found a few of his missing frames, so back in action here. 17 minutes of the tier 2 neutral items are just now spawning. Some big item pickups. We just had the Desolator, and I'm going to try and do it off of memory here. The Bristleback has the Soul Shroud? Is that what it's called?
Internal Shroud, man.
Internal Shroud. I knew it was Shroud something.
Yeah, it's just too good of an item on Bristle. That item was made for Bristle. Spell, lifesteal, magic resistance, and
giving yourself mana
back whenever you take mana. Yeah, whenever you take damage, that item's just too perfect for him.
Yeah. It really is.
20 spell lifesteal on heroes. There used to never be an option to get this spell lifesteal this early. Usually had to wait for that level 25 talent timing, and that was always pretty late in the game. But now, if he's not broken by the Nyx, there's like this critical threshold where you get him to like 500 health, and then suddenly he just isn't taking damage anymore because he's just healing as much as he's taking every time you proc his passive.
Looks like he's going to be going to AC next. What do you think about stacking some of that spell lifesteal with like the Bloodstone? Is that a viable build at all?
I've seen it sometimes. I think that'd be more of a mid or offlane Bristleback, but since he's the carry, it's his job to, like, he's getting buffed up by Venge and Beastmaster. It'd be kind of a meme if he went to that spell day, like, relied purely on the quills. The reason why the Eternal Shroud is nice, it's just such an efficient item for how survivable it makes you. But then, now that you're survivable, let's go kill some people.
Trying to do everything he can to stop Liquid from rolling onto the high coast side of the map. Better not summon a Hawk Supreme. He's pumping his ultimate. He's going to let it out now. Goes straight for Foxy. See if they can change something before Primal Roar goes out, but they cannot. He gets a 4-staff out of the Wukong's command. Still gets off his Primal Roar. Does a nice job of retreating here. Koifa's going to be caught inside of this mess, though. He's going to turn and fight, though, because he still has his Aghanim Scepter to be able to rely on. He gets popped, gets brought down. They are going to be able to get a little bit more as the Dying Tombstone is just in a perfect spot there. Mickey is playing underneath it like he just doesn't give a damn, though. And it looks like he probably doesn't give a damn. It's, the last hit is still not there. Somebody please, for love of God, hit this Tombstone. They finally do, while Mickey is going to be stalled up by the Meteor Hammer with the imprisonment, while the Koifa Illusion is going to go for Supreme. Already brought him back to the doom of Taiga, who blocks him in with the shard as well. He's going to get an imprisonment save. His OD's doing a lot of damage. Fox is getting a pop in the end there, but it looks like they're going to lose their Monkey King. If they lose their Monkey King, again, there goes a lot of their damage. They're just on full retreat now, as Chessie will do what he can to stall them from running back, but ultimately
he does respawn on the illusion.
He does, but he's going to be back to full health and full mana, so Koifa is covered by Mickey in that regard. They're going to relocate in. Maybe they will take advantage of this. Insania is here, though. They do have a few more seconds. He can maybe recall some people in. Meteor Hammer lands on a Koifa's head. They're going to try and pop him real quickly. Managed to get the magic missile stun. He's down. Taiga is now up. Maybe recalled by Insania.
Really down?
Chessie trying to get away, but he's going to be swapped back again. This illusion. They keep on killing the Vengeful Spirit at the start of these fights, but the illusion perseveres and has a huge impact in making sure that High Coast do not get away.
Other than killing the tombstone, because illusions do less damage to the tomb, that illusion is literally better than the actual hero. It moves at 30% bonus move speed, and otherwise it's the exact same. Hits for 100% damage, has all the spells. So Koifa, you see starting that fight by just walking up the hill, basically like a Wraith King saying, please kill me.
Yeah. Especially with the way he's building it, right? If he had built some sort of like bonus damage that was outside of his agility, then he wouldn't be getting that damage. But he's just all stats. He's just rolling up with treads and an Aghanim Scepter. Now he's going to be building an S and Y. Mickey broken here, impaled into the Meteor Hammer stun. That's going to land. Do we have any follow up? Nope. To give up on that. Oh, Axis!
The fact that he's allowed to play alone like this is just. Like, he's just getting away with murder in the top lane. Like, you see how they're able to play 3 lanes? That's the power of the Liquid lineup, as now they can collapse on bottom with the throttle recall.
Yeah, BK. Really good blast there from Insania, pushing Zibe up onto the high ground. They know Chessie's still here, too. Chessie did not have a TP, and I think they spotted that. They're going to go for the meteor. That's not going to go off. Trapped underneath his tier 2 tower. That is why sometimes this tier 2 tower is better off just give it up. It's such a hard tower to defend.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen. Dire's middle tower is under
problem is usually when the opponent team is pushing a tier 2 with 4 or 5 heroes like this, you're also pressuring other lanes. But because Mickey was able to play top for so long, Io's just now getting to the tier 2 and he's already forced the TP back, not even attempting to go for a trade. They're not missing out on any efficiency on the side of Liquid going.
Swap immediately breaking the tether. Supreme's going to get bursted down just like that. He's gone with no buyback. Tombstone is out on the side here. Mickey's going to deal with it. Force Staff gets him out of the Meteor Hammer stun just in case. Zibe very likely to die as the blast comes through from Insania to finish off the kill. They're going to buy back. Try and take this 4 versus 5, but I'm not convinced they can deal with Mickey.
Radiant's bottom barracks are under attack.
And Koifa has not been shy about dying just to force a fight. That is the power of the Aghanim Scepter. One lane of barracks.
I think people are learning the counter to Nyx is by simply having so much wave clear that they can't get the fights they want. Because once Nyx's team is allowed to group up and get pickoffs, it's really easy for that hero to burst down any single target and take a 5-on-4. But you're seeing here that like the Nyx is basically just a bounty hunter scouting out, looking at heroes in front of him, and he just can't kill them. And at that point, this hero isn't nearly as potent as we usually see when it's in a good game. And Liquid really showing that with the last couple picks in this draft. The bench Beastmaster, all about that 5-man.
Easy now on Mickey. Insania's going to die at the start of this fight, but once again, Supreme goes in. Maybe he can actually get out to Wukong's command. He's going to be okay. The rest of the Liquid did not come up into this triangle. Instead, they push forward to catch the OD to kill him, but it might cost some of their heroes their lives. Koifa is going to be dancing away here. Now that Wukong's command is gone, they have to relocate, then pull some heroes out. They're going to return back, though, to a team fight that's going to be very tough to take. The Tombstone's still around here, but again, the power of Mickey and Koifa just not really caring if anybody goes on them, because Koifa's got an extra life and Mickey's impossible to kill. Just means that it's always High Coast that have to back away.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
He's also got the 20 kill stack talent on Mickey. His damage output's insane.
Flop again, Supreme underestimating the range that this level 3 swap gives you. We could see Koifa's like, whatever. Die to a tier 3. I've got my illusion still here. Mission accomplished. We kill the core. We're going to take 2 lanes of barracks now. As swap goes again, Chessie is able to get the imprisonment on himself before the stun lands, but he's going to come back, and I'm not sure if he can do anything. Oh, the impale, Meteor Hammer. That's going to be able to finish off Taiga, rather, but Mickey is a big, big problem. Fortunately, the imprisonment will allow them to reset the fight, but it won't stop Mickey from going for the objectives unless it does. Unless Liquid's like, chill, it's okay. Back it up. No need to rush things.
Yeah, I think Nyx counter and Keeper of the Light's a myth. I think people think that Keeper of the Light is countered by Nyx because you can carapace the blast early. But the fact is, the most annoying thing with Nyx is when you try to go high ground or just these late game sieges, he just spams mana burn on these carries like Crystal. And when they run out of mana, they don't have anything that they can do. Coddle just gives it right back.
Yeah.
So I think that's actually what makes Coddle probably the counter to Nyx. Probably the best hero in the game against Nyx. Surprisingly so at this stage. Like later on when you're going for that high ground siege.
Yeah, we're not watching Coddles that are really, you know, doing heavy split pushing and too much, right? They show up, they defend a tower or something, but otherwise, you know, they're making better use of playing with their team, better use of recalling allies who those guys are doing the split pushing, not necessarily the Coddle.
This hero's concept is just busted, man. I think it's just so hard to play against. Whatever team I see has Keeper of Light, it just looks like their game plan is way easier to execute. Even if they end up losing, it just seems on paper so efficient. It always feels so nice as the core to have basically free boots of travel and a free walking fountain as well in terms of the mana. So as long as the hero has natural health sustain, you're always on map. There's so much efficiency gained from never having to go back to base, never having to ferry yourself clarities, going straight for items that are just good for the hero. And you're seeing it here with Bristol. His net worth is off the freaking start.
So much movement speed slow. The swap's going to go out, pulling him even deeper onto the side of Liquid, who pretty much own any area outside of High Coast's actual base. Koifa backing away from the tombstone. They're building up the imprisonment stacks here, stealing a bunch of that mana for the OD. All right, well, 60 Spirits hero damage. So with the Aghanim Scepter and now hitting that level 20, Dio certainly reached a big peak. Akaya as well, so big damage upgrade.
Dire are scanning.
Oh yeah, the Sanj and Kaya is a nice item here. The status resistance, in tandem with the spell amp.
HP regen that comes down as well. All very nice stuff. The imprisonment set up into Wukong's command. Missed the impale though. Swap back. Also kills the Wukong command and ultimately kills the Monkey King. He doesn't like that one bit. Now he's going to be Primal Lord on the OD. Okay, buyback on the Monkey King, but no buyback available on the OD, and that's been their way of dealing with Mickey so often part of the time as they try to go for the hit from Era. Impale, oh gee, he just got burst so quick. 6 shards blocks out Zibe, who drops the tombstone, but it's going to be all in vain as this team is very likely going to be wiped here. Mickey gets a little bit low, and Liquid once again going, okay, we don't necessarily have to force this. They'll lose Taiga on the way out, but they still have Koifa's illusion up, so basically it's still 4 mana up from Liquid.
Yeah, such good itemization coming out from Insania. We talked about him enabling the Bristleback early with his overall play and skill usage, but now he's got the Force Staff once he gets broken so that he doesn't get bursted. And he's got the Lotus Orb, like just such good items to enable his team to carry. And I just love the vision this guy has. I love the guy. He's a nice guy. And he's also a nice Dota player.
Nice. Things are looking quite nice for Liquid as well here as they are over 2,000 net ahead pretty early on into the game. They can go ahead and Roshan Leisure. And, well, our Bristleback also isn't close to being totally maxed out. Still fit in a full heart.
Here's the positive, Cap.
Yeah.
Is that if Bristle dies once, he dies twice.
Okay.
If you take his net worth out of the picture, it's actually even.
Ah, okay. So all we need to do is find a way to relocate Mickey into the enemy fountain.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm down with that. Maybe we're going to be able to kill the bench right away. Koifa, he's going to die. His illusion put it on the imprisonment. Zibe, though, oh dear. Mickey's right on top of them. Gets the Abyssal Blade onto the OD. Finishes off Zibe as well. We look over and Supreme's dead just like that because of Moxie and all of his Necronomicons. The synergy of this Liquid lineup, man, it just looks so cool.
You see a lot of individual pieces that counter the individual pieces of the Liquid lineup, but I think the overall picture is just so much more well-rounded on the side of Liquid, and you're seeing it play out in these 5v5s. It's like mixed, OD, 1-to-1, very nice against Bristol, right? But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you guys die in like 2 seconds.
Yeah. We gotta do something about the stacking, too.
Again, at the 7-minute mark, Era does interrupt one of these at this moment, but he can only get one of the 3. And this is, again, what makes Bristol end up being so broken, is that as a hard carry, he doesn't need to farm a Battle Fury to do these stacks. And it's also very cool that they're able to do this in the safe lane, basically, in the safe jungle. If your 4 position has to stack, he has to run all the way over here and stack Ancients and Large Camp, which Bristol can clear, but Bristol has to run farther to clear those. And also, that means that the 4 isn't in lane. So the 4 gets to stay in lane, contesting his lane, shutting down the enemy carry, making sure his 3 gets ahead. And later on, Bristol can just move over here at the 8-minute mark with a simple 2,000 gold item that makes him completely invulnerable. So after he clears all of these stacks, he gets all of this net worth advantage here, 4,000 compared to the 3,000 of Wisp. It also gives the Coddle like 200 or 300 gold, and it guarantees them all of their neutral items at the 8-minute mark, which is a further advantage against the enemy team. So somebody has to do something about this Liquid draft. Do not let them get Coddle Bristol. They're way too good at it. It's really hard to shut down, and Voided to give them a good gold advantage.
It really, really did. Thank you so much, Purge. And indeed, like, how are you going to deal with that? We already heard Brian's solution, Owen, and that is ban out the Coddle.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's what Kev was saying as well.
Yeah.
Just don't let them have Cold Bristle.
And I guess they ban out Timber AA. It's easy to change that up, Kyle.
Yeah, take away those
no
bans
Coddle.
don't.
Yeah.
Well, why Timber AA?
I have no idea.
No idea. So change
Who's
that.
even
Change that.
playing AA?
I mean, they picked
Well,
IO
they picked IO, but then still, who's going to play it?
Well,
I don't even think they would play
It's
it.
small points. Small points. Yeah, go for it first.
Don't pick
Kyle.
IO for Charlie. Charlie is he's a Slark PL juggernaut player. He's got the BSJ hero pool. I don't think you're going to win many games with Wisp. I also don't know about the third item, Sanj Kaya. It was just very odd.
I
Very odd.
don't think that build's that bad. I think this is the carry IO build.
How many players in the history of Dota 2 have made carry IO look really good?
A couple.
Such as?
Anna.
And?
Anna.
Exactly. I rest my case.
Yeah.
Well done. I mean, you were right. It definitely felt a little flat there coming out from Heiko's. But hey, that was their strat for the first game. What will be the strategy in game number 2? We're going to find out after the break.
You don't want your ball to be flat.
Oh, I tried so hard to be nice, but you don't wanna know if I don't have the rights, 'cause darling.
for the
Oh!
Well,
It's just better, right? They didn't get the cottle and the
Sure,
bristle. They
that
took
is
the bristle
true.
away. That's nice.
they got the IO bristle, and probably, hopefully, this time it's support IO. All right, Purge, what do you make of
I'm
it?
still cool with it being carried, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I think it was fine.
I stay up to date with some of the brightest minds in terms of Dota analytics, both in Twitch chat and on Reddit. And I really agreed with one of the posts
they
in the
say?
match thread, the most recent one, in fact, saying, I think that was the last time we saw Insania get coddle in this DPC tournament. And I was about to come here and agree with him. But then he just got it again.
Wait.
And I think that they've misrealized what the actual key hero for Liquid success is.
First, you take the point from JJ. Now you take a point from Reddit. Do you have your own analysis as well, Kyle?
Can we just get Reddit on the panel instead?
Yeah, please. I actually
Actually, let's
prefer
not do that.
Purge on the
It's a
panel.
terrible idea.
Purge,
We'll
talk
never
to
do
me about the opening of these two teams.
Well, they split them up, obviously, so they can't have Caudle and Bristle. Like, the laning stage of Caudle Bristle was mostly about harassing your opponent, giving Bristle basically unlimited mana, which is, you know, like 1,000 net worth advantage in the early game. He doesn't have to buy Soul Ring. And he basically gets to abuse the fact that he's like an offlane in a carry position, do all that crazy stuff that I showed. So that's separated. IO Bristle can kind of do that too by giving Bristle mana regen, but it can go do stacks, I guess, not as well as Caudle, but it will help them clear it. So it feels a little bit like they're hurting themselves slightly by picking the Bristle themselves rather than banning it, but maybe they can get, 75% of the value that Team Liquid did last game with it. So
I have a
maybe it'll be
question.
okay.
If you know that your opponent is very fond of stacking, surely they can steal the stacks with this strategy then.
Well, that's what was cool about last game, actually, is that the Bristle cleared them so stupid early at the 8-minute mark. The best thing that you can usually do at that point, unless you have like crazy good heroes for it, like Tide or something, is you just have to sap experience while they do it, in my opinion, or try to kill some of them. So like vision in those locations while they're clearing it is good, but because Liquid did it so early, it becomes harder to counteract, basically. And it's not an ancient either, so it gets cleared faster.
Oh my god,
So
they didn't.
There's ways.
And they didn't ban Viper.
They didn't, and this, of course, was something that Liquid did ban last game when they were playing Bristle because
Oh my
it's so
God.
darn good against it.
They banned Marana? All right, well, I already love Liquid's draft. Coddle Ember is an excellent replacement. We saw that earlier today. It was dominant, so dominant it made me do something dumb. Viper is really good with a hero like Coddle because you're slow moving, but it's like a Necrophos. If you have some sort of global mobility, the hero's just so strong all of a sudden because you can bring them to fights. We heard Fogged or BSJ, whoever it was, commenting that when the Bristle, they're playing 3 lanes, and Viper's another hero that can play lane by himself.
Yeah.
And it
Nothing to
counters
add
Bristle.
there.
It's break. AoE break.
But maybe it's a trap, because Rubik is still in the pool, and maybe they just want all the spells of all the good heroes on one hero only, and they'll just go for the IO Rubik support duo, Owen. No, never mind.
I'm a little worried about where Viper lanes, though, because I feel like if you do like Viper offlane against Bristle, that could be some issues, is the only thing. He's a little bit weak to physical damage in the early laning stage. Obviously, like poison stacks would be okay, but I feel like backed up by IO, it's a decent lane against him, so that's maybe one weakness.
I mean, a Liquid not the sort of team that could run the Viper as not necessarily a core here.
It's possible. I've seen Taiga play it.
Yeah. And Tiger and Boxy getting some lane going together with Tiger playing the Viper as 4. What else have they got? I mean, okay, no, the Tiger's going to be playing the Tusk. Okay.
They have their last pick for either mid or off lane, because you could also Viper off. Okay, we saw that in the previous series as well, the Morph against the Coddle.
And we have seen from OG that the combination of Earth Spirit and Morphling is still
Yes.
super strong if you get that Axe on the Morph, allowing him to turn into the Earth Spirit, but obviously they do need to get to that point. But when it happened, it was very, very strong.
Yeah, we should see where some of these matchups lie, because if the Ember ends mid against the Morph will have a pretty good time in that lane. Like, we've seen Morphs just dumpster Embers in 1v1s. But, of course, that's not necessarily guaranteed with Liquid's lineup. As in sort of classic Liquid style, they've got many different ways they could lane their cores here.
I think they've salvaged their draft a bit with this next two, but I feel like it's similar to how we viewed Morph Earthshaker in the past, where pretty much universally, if you saw those two heroes picked, you're like, oh, okay, well, that can win. Like, I see the win condition here. And it's quite formidable against heroes like Ember Coddle. You can just kind of bull rush them. Same with the Wisp Bristle. It's a very aggressive lineup from High Coast.
All right, we have the Monkey King removed. And we are kind of expecting to still need a... Actually, Liquid can swap things up
That's
quite
what I'm
a
saying.
bit.
Yeah,
Will,
they could literally do quite a few different things. With
But at least we're expecting a core. Safe to say.
Like most expected, I feel is probably Mickey, Ember, and Quake for Viper, but it could honestly just as likely be like a boxy Viper. I think Mickey for sure is going to be playing the Ember. I'd be very surprised if he isn't the Ember player.
And with the lineup of High Coast, with the Morphling, we know Supreme can also play the Morphling.
Yeah, I think the Morph will probably be mid.
You think it's still IO for Charlie?
No.
No, I don't think so, no.
No.
I don't think so, no.
Oh, they do end up banning the Brute this time around, by the way.
Yeah. Because Bristle does well against Brood, but you don't kill him. You can just kind of deal with spiders.
Why is Lone Druid still... Is this not a Lone Druid game? Did I miss a conversation topic that we already talked about this?
I mean, they could pick Lone Druid, couldn't they? I mean, as I said, Boxy can play Viper, and then Quakefer can go side lane, and Ember can go mid, if it's not a good lane matchup.
He's pretty hard to gank this game, at least. Kind of, I mean, the lanes are so flexible for both sides right now. It's hard for me to figure out where everyone's going. Like, they could do Bristle off lane, for example. They got lots of ways to go.
Well, let's see. Darkseer coming out.
So it's...
And an Invoker insta-pick from Team
my.
Liquid. That's a boxy Invoker, by the way.
I really, really like what Liquid's got. Like this Invoker is actually so sick against the Morph Darkseer. Really, the whole draft. What's up?
It's a 4 Bristleback.
Really?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
And it is a carry IO again. Because I guess they don't want to have the Bristle in a core position whilst Quakefer's playing Viper. So they take it out of the core role.
It's actually like it's Zibe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Era is playing position 4.
Oh, sorry,
right?
so he bounced to a 5
it's Zibe,
Bristol.
It's a 5 Bristol. We're bumping it down every time. Okay, Birds, I'm going to let you go first on this one.
They prevented their opponents from getting a really good draft by giving themselves a bad draft. So I'm going to have to say this seems like an obvious Team Liquid win to me, but maybe they can make Bristle work somehow.
All right, well, we'll come back to you later on. All right, Cal.
This is another one of those games. I'm really confident Liquid will win this.
No, don't do
I'm not going to do it. Morph Earth Spirit is still spooky. I actually think 5 Bristle, much like 5 Brew, 5 Axe in the past, has potential.
Okay.
And it is better because you're just going to spam goo.
Yeah, you're just gonna
on
run
the
at
Viper,
them.
on the con. Like, it's actually annoying to deal with, and you have win conditions. I just don't believe in the Charlie one. The Charlie Wisp.
Okay.
One Wisp.
I do believe in the Charlie IO. I don't think his IO was that bad last year. I think he was alright.
How sure are you?
I'm not nearly anywhere near as sure as you, but just for a bit of, no betting, none of that. But I do think that maybe High Coast will win this game.
Okay.
I believe in the Morph, and I don't believe too much in the Invoker. I feel this here is a little overrated at the moment. So I believe Charlie IO is going to be fine. You're going to be sold on it by the end of the game.
Let's find out. How is this one going to play out? Let's head over to Capitalist and VSJ.
Was Coddle the problem in game 1, or is the second game of IO the solution, BSJ? What do you think?
Dire team ban.
Oh, okay.
I think it was fine.
I stay up to date with some of the brightest minds in terms of Dota analytics, both in Twitch chat and on Reddit. And I really agreed with one of the posts in the match thread, the most recent one, in fact, saying, I think that was the last time we saw Insania get coddle in this DPC tournament. And I was about to come here and agree with him. But then he just got it again. And I think that they've misrealized what the actual key hero for Liquid success is.
First, you take the point from JJ. Now you take a point from Reddit. Do you have your own analysis as well, Kyle?
Can we just get Reddit on the panel instead?
Yeah, please. I actually prefer Purge on the panel. Purge, talk to me about the opening of these two teams.
Well, they split them up, obviously, so they can't have Caudle and Bristle. Like, the laning stage of Caudle Bristle was mostly about harassing your opponent, giving Bristle basically unlimited mana, which is, you know, like 1,000 net worth advantage in the early game. He doesn't have to buy Soul Ring. And he basically gets to abuse the fact that he's like an offlane to carry position, do all that crazy stuff that I showed. So that's separated. Bristle can kind of do that too by giving Bristle mana regen, but it can go do stacks, I guess, not as well as Caudle, but it will help them clear it. So it feels a little bit like they're hurting themselves slightly by picking the Bristle themselves rather than banning it. But maybe they can get, you know, 75% of the value that Team Liquid did last game with it. So
I have a question. If you know that your opponent is very fond of stacking, surely they can steal the stacks with this strategy then.
Well, that's what was cool about last game, is that the Bristle cleared them so stupid early at the 8-minute mark. The best thing that you can usually do at that point, unless you have like crazy good heroes for it, like Tide or something, is you just have to sap experience while they do it, in my opinion, or try to kill some of them. So like vision in those locations while they're clearing it is good, but because Liquid did it so early, it becomes harder to counteract, basically. And it's not an ancient either, so it gets cleared faster.
Oh my god,
so
they didn't.
There's ways.
Then they didn't ban Viper.
They didn't, and this, of course, was something that Liquid did ban last game when they were playing Bristle, because it's so darn good against it.
They banned Marana?
10
All right, well, I already love Liquid's draft. Caudle Ember is an excellent replacement. We saw that earlier today. It was dominant, so dominant it made me do something dumb. Viper is really good with a hero like Caudle because you're slow moving, but it's like a Necrophos. If you have some sort of global mobility, the hero's just so strong all of a sudden because you can bring him to fight. You heard Fogged or BSJ, whoever it was, commenting that when the Bristle, they're playing 3 lanes, and Viper's another hero that can play lane by himself.
Yeah.
And it counters Bristle. It's break. AoE break.
But maybe it's a trap, because Rubik is still in the pool, and maybe they just want all of the spells of all the good heroes on one hero only, and they'll just go for the IO Rubik support duo.
Team Liquid's turn to pick.
No, never mind.
I'm a little worried about where Viper lanes, though, because I feel like if you do like Viper offlane against Bristle, that could be some issues. It's the only thing. He's a little bit weak to physical damage in the early laning stage. Obviously, like poison stacks would be okay, but I feel like backed up by IO, it's a decent lane against him. So that's maybe one weakness.
5 seconds remaining.
I mean, a Liquid not the sort of team that could run the Viper as not necessarily a core here?
It's possible. I've seen Tiger play it.
Yeah. No, Tiger and Box against lane going together with Tiger playing the Viper as 4. What else have they got?
Dire team pick.
Dusk.
Okay, no, the Tiger's going to be playing the Tusk. Okay.
They have their last pick for either mid
Dire
or
team
off lane. Could also work for off. Okay, we saw that in the previous series as well, the Morph against the Caudle.
And we have seen from OG that the combination of Earth Spirit and Morphling is still super strong if you get that Axe of Morph, allowing him to turn into the Earth Spirit. But obviously, they do need to get to that point. But when it happened, it was very, very strong.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, we should see where some of these matchups like, because if the Ember ends mid against the Morph will have a pretty good time in that lane. We've seen Morphs just dumpster Embers in 1v1s, but of course that's not necessarily guaranteed with Liquid's lineup as in sort of classic Liquid style. They've got many different ways they could lane their cores here.
I think they've salvaged their draft a bit with this next 2, but I feel like it's similar to how we viewed Morph Earthshaker in the past, where pretty much universally, if you saw those 2 heroes picked, you're like, oh, okay, well, that can win. Like, I see the win condition here. And it's quite formidable against heroes like Ember Caudle. You can just kind of bull rush them. Same with the Wisp Bristle. It's a very aggressive lineup from High Coast.
10 seconds remaining.
All right, we have the Monkey King removed. And we are kind of expecting to still need a... Actually, Liquid can swap things up.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they could literally do quite a few different things.
But at least we're expecting a core.
10
Safe to say.
Like most expected, I feel is probably Mickey, Ember, and Quake for Viper, but it could honestly just as likely be like a boxy Viper. I think Mickey for sure is going to be playing the Ember. I'd be very surprised if he isn't the Ember player.
And with the lineup of High Coast, with the Morphling, we know Supreme can also play the Morphling.
Yeah, I think the Morph will probably be mid.
You think it's still IO for Charlie?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. No.
Oh, they do end up banning the Brute this time around, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, because Bristle does well against Brood, but you don't kill him. You can just kind of deal with spiders.
Why is Lone Druid still... Is this not a Lone Druid game? Did I miss a conversation topic that we already talked about this?
I mean, they could pick Lone Druid, couldn't they? I mean, I said Boxy can play Viper, and then Quakefer can go side lane, and Ember can go mid if it's not a good lane matchup.
5 seconds remaining.
He's pretty hard to gank this game, at least. Kind of. I mean, the lanes are so flexible for both sides right now. It's hard for me to figure out where everyone's going. Like, they could do Bristle off lane. They got lots of ways to go.
Team Liquid's turn.
Let's see. Darkseer coming out.
You may now select your heroes.
And an Invoker insta-pick from Team Liquid. That's a boxy Invoker, by the way.
I really, really like what Liquid's got. Like, this Invoker is actually so sick against the Morph Darkseer. Really, the whole draft.
It's a 4-person buff.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
And it is a carry IO again. Because I guess they don't want to have the Bristle in a core position whilst Quakefer's playing Viper. So they take it out of the core.
It's actually like it's Zibe.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Era is playing position 4.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so it's bounced to a 5
it's
Bristle.
It's a 5 Bristle. We're bumping it down every time. Okay, Birds, I'm going to let you go first on this one.
They prevented their opponents from getting a really good draft by giving themselves a bad draft. So I'm going to have to say this seems like an obvious Team Liquid win to me, but maybe they can make Bristle work somehow.
All right, well, we'll come back to you later on. All right, Cal.
This is another one of those games I'm really confident Liquid will win.
No, don't do it.
I'm not going to do it. More Earth Spirit is spooky. I actually think 5 Bristle, much like 5 Brew, 5 Axe in the past, has potential.
Okay.
And it is better because you're just going to spam goo.
Yeah, you're just going to run at
them. On the like, it's actually annoying to deal with, and you have win conditions. I just don't believe in the Charlie Wisp.
Okay.
One Wisp.
I do believe in the Charlie IO. I don't think his IO was that bad last year. I think he was alright.
How sure are you?
I'm not near as sure as you, but just for a bit of no betting, none of that. But I do think that maybe High Coast will win this game.
Okay.
I believe in them
Prepare
more,
for battle.
and I don't believe too much in the Invoker. I feel this here is a little overrated at the moment. So I believe Charlie IO is going to be fine. You're going to be sold on it by the end of the game.
Let's find out. How is this one gonna play out? Let's head over to Capitalist and BSJ.
Was Coddle the problem in game 1, or is the second game of IO the solution? BSJ, what do you think?
The issue I have with the Dire draft here is that none of their cores move. Darkseer, Bristleback, Morph, they all like to stay in their lanes and kind of just farm. And on the other side, we have Coddle, who can recall people. We have Tusk, who's a great roamer. And we have very mobile Ember Spirit, as well as Invoker. So I'm really concerned that they're kind of just going to get outmaneuvered around the map, just purely based on the fact that none of their heroes want to.
I love the production. They're like, okay, we noticed something about these Liquid games. We'll go to the casters, but real quick, we got to go into the game because Liquid, they did the same thing, slightly different side of the map. A 5-man over here and managed to catch Jesse, hands down. Underneath the tree.
It's so easy at nighttime now. This whole night change until the 0-minute mark has made these level 1 skirmishes so much more common. It's pretty crazy that this 800 vision, like, range instead of the 1800. It's just so much easier to sneak up on people, give them the wraparound and paths that they normally would have seen you.
I honestly don't know why more teams don't do this. Why not just 5-ban to one side of the map if it's nighttime?
Yeah, I actually don't know. They're going to return to their lane just in time. Like, if you look at the top lane, they had to walk all the way from bottom to top. Looks like Pokefoot, since he's such a slow hero, 275. He will be a tad late, so maybe this is the downside of it.
I mean,
But
if you
who
really
needs
wanted to be
on
there
time
in
when
time,
you're against
though,
the 5 Bristle, right?
he could have TP'd, right? You got 3 free TPs to start the game.
That's true.
Well, he will get here in time in order to get all the CS. Boxy is going to be playing the mid lane. We have seen Liquid move Boxy, most notably Boxy, around quite a bit. He's played 2, he's played 3, he's 4. Those are mostly where you're going to be seeing him move around quite a bit, but we've even seen him in the safe lane. I don't know if we would call him a one position, but he's done that as well. The man seemingly doesn't care what lane he's in. Certain heroes or certain matchups, maybe they want to switch things up like they did with Taiga, playing 3 position at one point in time. You know, if they want to switch something up, Boxy is versatile enough that it seems like he can do it.
And I think that might have been the most valuable tornado I've ever seen in the laning stage. You got 3 CS with 1 tornado. I don't know if this is like straight up disrespect. I've never seen Boxy mid before. As you say, I've seen him be flexible in a lot of other roles, but the fact that they're moving Quakefoot off lane and then Boxy to mid here, this is the only team I know that in the 6 games I've watched of them so far, maybe 7, they've had 3 different people go mid. Mickey plays mid sometimes, like he played Puck in a couple of their games, and I don't know, man, that's crazy to be able to do that at the highest level.
Mickey doesn't try to pursue for that kill onto Chessie. Matched up against the Era Earth Spirit and Chessie playing Darkseer Ember Coddle, which we've seen the power of Ember Coddle, and I feel like Coddle's going to be a pretty good hero at being able to deal with Ion Shell wave pushing, just because you can kind of nuke down the wave.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, it allows the Ember to not have to go for this Flame Guard, which would normally get burned down by the Ion Shell anyways. And eventually, when he gets these Sleight of Fist chains levels up, this Darkseer, his Surge is going to be rather lackluster, and he'll probably bite the dust a couple times, as I don't really see how they can be aggressive between Era and Chessie here. Insania, Coddle, like 330 moves. And hard to catch this hero out of position just by purely using slows and haste movement speed on yourself.
They're going to confidently pull into the hard camp, knowing that they could probably get the CS. They don't actually get
damage. It's just efficient trading for Liquid there. Like, Mickey took very little damage. Everyone's sharing experience. 2-man nuke.
Not any real danger there, just kind of pushed away. If he felt like he could just TP out since they've done. Them, but meanwhile, Era
Quakefoot is level 3 now. That poison attack starts to add up a lot, doubles up in damage, and it looks like he's going to go down on the 5 position versus. Like, you don't get to say that very often.
what's he doing over there?
He was blocking the hard camp.
Oh, okay.
Illusion.
Yeah, if you guys are trying to learn how to lane in regards to how you can abuse pull camps and such, example, both teams are doing a lot of things right, and you're seeing Zibe getting punished for trying to do something right that may be outside of his hero's capabilities.
Meanwhile, Charlie isn't able to have that kind of free lane that we see on a lot of IOs because he's matched up a fully ranged off laner and one that's very good pressuring in the Viper. which Charlie. It's in his
myself. That's just what happened to you. Even if you end up surviving, even if you end up getting to keep playing the lane, you miss so many CS. You're stuck still sitting away from lane so often just to regenerate, just to get rid of the stacks of the points. You're seeing here, Viper's at 23 CS to 14 of Charlie.
So what is like, if you could just disregard the heroes and replace it with something? What is the kind of lane that deals with those very cancerous off-lane pressure you with lane? Hold up. Give me a moment to think about it. Era is looking for the kick here. Does manage to land it on See, Tornado goes out on Supreme. He gets off the Ghost Walk, and he's going to be able to try and slow him down and hope that he can get the rune as well. But no, bottled up by Supreme. Boxy is out on that.
The type of lanes that deal with it are just like with Viper, I like PL a lot. You can dispel his Q anytime he tries to stack it up on you. You have a way to close the gap on him, so in case you want to commit for a kill. And then later, Viper doesn't deal with the losing heroes very well later.
Attack.
Okay.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
But just that type of hero in general, like Weaver, PL, Terrorblade's okay against Venom specifically, because you can reflect his Poison Sting. But it's all matchup based on the offlaner. But when you pick these, I feel like IO's meant to win the lane, is my problem. And if you pick these lane winners against heroes like Viper, Venom, you just don't win the lane. So it kind of puts a damper on your win condition of the mid game.
Yeah, it's pretty cool that Viper simultaneously wins the one-on-one matchup against the IO, so it pressures him in lane. The other way to recover is taking stacks, and guess what? Viper does that really well. He's got level 1 of Nether Toxin, but they just took that hard camp stack with a little help from Taiga. Push the IO out of lane. Liquid are just winning everywhere you look. They're up by 2K net worth right now. Top 3 core heroes all around. Already very concerning for Heiko.
Yeah, they're just out efficiencying them more CS in general. The box maybe biting the dust mid, but that tornado should be enough to disengage from here.
He managed to get the dust on him. Boxy. It's
no
regenning up.
Strike points.
Jesse's now.
He is going for the Atos first. This is a really nice Atos game for the Viper. All 3 cores rely on mobility spells, tether, the waveform, surge.
Real good.
Like I said, though, I think the way to deal with Viper is to gank it. And they don't have gankers. Like, their heroes on the Dire side just do not move. And this is a big problem in their draft. I don't know how they're supposed to... They're going to be like dealing with the same problem they did last game, just in a different way. They have the heroes that can't occupy lanes independently, and so Liquid's going to be able to farm all 3 lanes. And that's why you're seeing, even though there's virtually no kills happening this game, the Liquid's all of a sudden up by 3,000 net worth at 8.5 minutes.
Top tower is
do you think that Era, like we saw Era sitting behind mid lane at some point in time, do you think he should have tried a rotation up to top? Like, is that a way to deal with that?
For the bristle? You know, it's like it's a 5-position bristle. This isn't like a Lich or a Grimstroke or some other 5 position that's going to offer a lot of damage. Like, I think Purge put it very eloquently. It's like they made their draft bad to take away Liquid's good draft. I don't think it necessarily works like that.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Certainly hasn't stopped the stacking. I do appreciate that Heikos is doing some stacking of their own, but it seems like Liquid, that entire concept of stacking, they seem very well equipped. When
he's actually maxing the flame guard on him to do the stack.
Yeah, cool. That's a nice little tidbit there.
Yeah, most of these Embers with the con will just go 4-4-0, but he went for the 1-2-0 in lane and then maxed out the flame guard just to get that quick boost. That's like 500 gold right there, 9 minutes in. That feels so good as a core. That's like a whole minute's worth of farming that he just got done in like 15 seconds.
really high amount of experience as well. So he's still going to get those high levels of sleight of fist very, very soon.
Never refuse good given.
Good kill there in the top lane. They get Taiga while trying to take some bounty runes.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Still, though, looks like 3 went to the side of...
I wonder if the Viper will go for Boots of Shroud. I think that it's a really nice item on Viper, but the Keeper of the Light might kind of do that for you. Curious to see what Quake's next item is here. As Boxy bought the Midas, has it pretty early, 10 minutes in for Invoker.
Zibek, you are not a core bristleback, my friend.
Radiant's top tower.
You can't just run at people full-on aggro like you're invincible.
What do you mean, man? He's 6-slotted. Look at his inventory.
Is he really? Look at that. He's got 8 items.
Yeah, you're right. He's actually 8-slotted.
All right, there goes the Rod of Atos. They're going to reveal that one as they start going on to the Morphling. He's going to shrink Morph all he can and will manage to get out thanks in parts of the rotations. Oh, nice pushback there. Era also pull in on Mickey to quickly surround that Earth Spirit. Mickey still has the Ace Rune, so he could chase some more heroes down if he wants to. Gets the Chakra Magic, had another slight, but figured, no need to really dive this Dark Seer too much. Just be happy with what you got.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Every time I look at the minimap, I see Liquid farming more areas than... I always mess up their name, man. I'm just calling
High Coast.
Dire's bottom
I keep
tower
wanting to
is
say
under
high
attack.
5, and then I'm just like, that's not right. Yeah, they like if I see Liquid farming 3 lanes, High Coast is farming 2. See Liquid farming 2 lanes, High Coast is farming 1. It's just always
Radiant's
more
middle tower
real
is
estate
under
going
attack.
the way of Liquid, and that really just explains every time I look up at the net worth, it's another 500 or so every minute going in favor of Liquid.
Dire's bottom tower is
rough.
under attack.
Again, Heiko's doing a good job of like keeping the total stacks pretty close to even here. I like that. I like that
Dire's top
adjustment.
tower is under attack.
But as you said, that's not the only thing that Coddle's doing, right? It's also with the recall allowing Liquid to be able to play more parts of the map, knowing that they could just group up thanks to the call nice and quick.
Yeah, I think if the spectators at home were to just go back and only watch the minimap from like the 5-minute mark until now, you can just tell how much more Liquid is farming. Because sometimes you get distracted by the kills that are going on, these like skirmishes at the bounty runes, and all these type of little miniature engagements. But at the end of the day, it's how much golden experience people are accruing in this early game, and Liquid has a lot more of it thus far.
Now, I don't want our viewers to think that's all that Dota is, but the truth is that Heikos can't really punish them, right? I mean, they've got IO, Morphling, Darkseer. You said heroes that don't want to move around and make kills happen. Oh, Tornado. Zania does have Taiga here to be able to block him off. Zibe, I keep forgetting that this this little guy, man, he's so squishy. Then again, so is Koifa when he's surrounded by 4 heroes. But every single time I look at that bristleback,
that guy hits for 300 right now.
Oof. Yeah, that'll certainly do.
That tower's gonna die top for sure. I'm not gonna get too far ahead of myself like Kyle does. I'll just say it's most likely
Radiant's
gonna die
top tower is under attack.
See, Liquid is going to try and defend here. Arrow tries to make the initiation. A little bit off the mark there with that roll in, and unfortunately he's going to pay the iron price. His blood is spilled on the battlefield. The tower does indeed die, though, right? We're absolutely right about that one. But the tower is also, again, going to come at a cost. 2 heroes down for Axel. Bean, maybe going to die here as well. Out of the MP, out of the stun strike. So he is okay for now. Nick, got to be careful of that turn into the Ember Spirit. Had the shackles on him. Supreme. Oh, here comes the damage. Here comes Taiga. They're going to throw a lot of tag team damage onto him. Maybe Slob. Oh, they managed to get in front of him. Here comes the bristleback. Zibe's here to defend his Supreme. Oh, no, the Morphling's dead. Zibe's dead too.
Dire's top tower is under
Here's
attack.
the counter, guys. If you're looking to figure out how to play Bristle against the Viper,
Radiant
you
structures
just
are
don't
fortified.
level Bristleback.
Can't get broken if you don't have a passive.
It's just like that Purge video where they didn't level their skills against Rubik. It's the same idea.
Radiant's bottom
You're
tower
completely
is under
negating
attack.
Viper's entire second ability. Except for the fact that it still does a shit ton of damage.
What is this?
Amazing. Dota 2 truly is an open playground of ideas.
You
Unfortunately,
see something new every day, Cap.
yeah, unfortunately, in that playground, Liquid is being the big bully, kicking sand in High Coast's eyes, pushing them down. They're up 8,000 net worth right now in 15 minutes. Again, very, very large lead. And
They just want to swing on the swings, man.
yeah. What was your favorite recess playground activity, Brian?
I just climbed all over the jungle gym stuff, man. Anything I could climb on. That was what I was all about. What about you, Cap?
You know, I was a big fan
Radiant's
of
bottom tower is under
dodgeball.
attack.
Love me some dodgeball.
Dude, I love dodgeball too. Dodgeball and capture the flag. Those are like my favorite team games.
Well, 92, we're watching Charlie's IO try and clear through some ancient stacks. Gets a little help from Zibe, which I'm not sure if Charlie really wants, to be honest.
Yeah, get away from my experience, noob.
Yeah.
Radiant's middle tower is
I
under
think that's
attack.
fair. Zibe is currently 0-5 and 0. I mean, that's not him. That's not the player. I feel like that's the hero in the position.
No, it's time out. Who's the drafter?
Ah, yes. Maybe you are
That's
right
his
about
fault.
that. Maybe it is his fault. Listen, you draft together as a team,
Brought for
Brian.
himself, right? Yeah. The team draft.
Yes.
There's like a lot of flexibility in Dota. What positions heroes play. I feel like Bristleback in the 5 position is
Dire's
not one of
bottom
them.
tower is under attack.
No, I don't think so.
Kind of reminds me of the Death Prophet 5 position that we saw a lot, maybe 8 or 9 months ago. On paper, it's like, yeah, it's really countered. It's a really good hero, but they picked like 4 counters. Let's just move it to support. And then you just don't have a support.
Zib is going to give his best rendition of Contortionist. Try and be as flexible as possible to get out of that gank, but he does not.
I was wondering what you meant by contortionist.
Oh, you're talking about flexibility, you know?
That's true. It's true. It's good. It's good.
I mean, they're trying to be. They're trying to be OG, but can't quite pull that one off without some real good practice. Mickey with the double damage almost brings Charlie down. The roll in from Taiga. He's going to get the big fish punch in there to finish him off. And now, well, this is High Coast. Retreat just like that.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, I love the Desolator from the Ember.
Dire's
Other than
middle tower
Morphling,
is under
all
attack.
4 heroes on the enemy team are strength heroes with low armor.
Taiga. Not quite catching there, but Mickey, yeah. Gonna get the 2. Lock him down with the Ron Betos. They can go for the carry here. They can go for the Morphling. Supreme's already dead. Tornado up in the air. The Darkseer had just used his surge. So beautiful timing there from Boxy with a clock switch. Invoker catching him out. Koifa, he's not scared of anything, nor should he be, as most of High Coast is all dead. And they're up a whomping 10,000.
It's crazy to me the difference between like tier 1 EU and tier 2 EU because this High Coast team, these players are good, man. Charlie's like top 10. Era's been around for a very long time. Same with Chessie, very high MMR. Like all these players are really good players, man.
Yeah.
I think it's easy at home to like laugh at these guys and think, wow, what a stupid draft. Like how bad are these guys? This is just proof of how good Liquid is, man. And then Liquid lost to Team Nigma, you know, a day or 2 ago. That's just crazy to me. Like the gap here.
It is pretty crazy. I have to assume this is something they've tried out. Just 5 position from the back. They probably tried it out.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Honestly, this looks like something where I don't know how we deal with this. We don't have enough bans in the first round. How about we just deny pick the
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
You and I.
actually.
Radiant structures.
If there's a losers interview, you can ask, but I don't think there is one.
I love it.
Dyer's
Let's
bottom
look at the
tower
stats
is
of
under
deaths.
attack.
There are only 2 people with deaths on the side of Liquid. Koifa and Taiga, the offlane duo.
Dyer's bottom
this
tower
game.
has
Yeah,
fallen.
whenever you're winning like this, you gotta bring up the scoreboard and say, who are the feeders? Who are the feeders on the winning team here?
I mean, who are the team players, Brian? Such a carry mentality to assume that deaths means feeding. Could just be, playing for your team.
Such a support excuse. I mean, mentality.
Ill-gotten gains.
13K, the number keeps climbing. The map gets smaller and smaller for High Coast, and they may have a Morphling, but I don't know. It's going to take some mega throws. I don't know how they possibly rectify this big of an advantage. They may have a hard carry that maybe the lineup at 55 minutes in an even game is going to look fantastic. But right now, it's far down.
Dyer's
They
top tower
rush.
is under attack.
I just love watching Liquid specifically because I feel like if I look at their every single game, the
Dire
order in which
are
people
scared.
are is just different. Obviously, this series,
Dire's
Mickey's been on
top
top for both games, but sometimes Void's the one. Sometimes Taiga even has one of the 2 highest net worth. Very rarely have I seen Taiga be the 5 position as the 4, right? He's the hero that farms much less than Keeper of the Life.
Okay, so you see that? They're not even giving up this safe lane tower. So they had a Koifa down here, right? He threw down Nether Strike and then TP'd up to go Roshan. And then while they're doing Roshan, Insania comes in, he pushes out this lane, and he can recall his allies in. So they set it up where they're able to take Roshan without even giving up a tier 1 tower.
Dyer's
That's
top
just
tower is under
Movie is it
attack.
where you say give them nothing and take from them everything?
Yes.
That,
Yes.
yes.
No,
That
that's
that
excellent.
sounds like what they're going for here.
It really does.
Really?
I was kind of joking about Liquid being bullies, but they're getting a little too real.
Dyer's top tower is under attack.
Yep, just look at it. Auto farming bottoms, Viper farming mid, Ember killing a tower top. Pretty much the story of this
Dyer's
series.
top tower has fallen.
That would be the 300.
Invisibility.
I thought so, but it's one of those where, if I say the movie and I'm wrong, I feel stupider than just acting like I don't remember the movie. So I went with the conservative approach.
Dyer's middle tower.
Or
is
maybe you
under
could
attack.
act like a bougie, intellectual and say that you're quoting King Leonidas.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure if he actually in reality said that. Sounds like
Sounds like something that'd be hard to disprove.
yeah, absolutely. Chesty. Oh, yeah, that's BKB on Mickey. A BKB with a double damage. And pretty sure those letters, all combined, BKB and DD, combined to say that High Coast is dead.
I feel like there's no way those letters combined to say that. But
It's code, Brian. You wouldn't understand.
Is under attack.
okay, fair enough. It's support talk.
Yeah. all the 4 and 5 positions out there totally understand me. Hey, you know what? Hey, shout out to High Coast. You gotta have. There's no other way to treat that game than just to laugh it off. It's all good. It's all good, baby. It happens. Sometimes you just get outdrafted and you get stomped. Right, Brian?
Yeah,